This video is sponsored by Creality. More about them later. Guys, there is a CNC revolution happening right now. I'm sure you've noticed all your favorite influencers and makers. We're all starting to make stuff using these cheap little desktop CNC laser machines. And it's not just because the brands are willing to send them out to us to try out, which of course that is extremely helpful, but it's because they're actually really awesome, really super useful tools to have in your workshop. And I've been saying it from the beginning in every CNC video that I've done. CNCs are not only helpful, but they save you money and they make you money. And so that's what I'm going to show you guys today is how a cheap little CNC laser can actually pay for itself really easily, maybe even turn into a cool little side hustle or a small business for you. Now, this video isn't necessarily going to be Guns and Guitars specific, but because it's me, we're going to be making stuff related to Guns and Guitars, of course. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, let's get started. Now, ever since I got my first CNC laser, I never set out for it to be some sort of side hustle or small business or anything like that. I only ever used it to make things specifically for this channel. But that didn't stop word of mouth from spreading around town that I had a CNC laser. And so inevitably, I've just kind of started making money on the side with it. It's been really cool, actually. So to this day, I've never marketed myself at all. I don't have any like Etsy stores set up for laser crafts or anything, but I've started to make money. And so I'm going to show you some of my favorite crafts that are sure to make you guys money. Or if, like me, you don't want to market and sell yourself, you can use these crafts just to save you money, especially this holiday season with personalized gifts. You'll be able to see real fast how one of these things will pay for itself really quickly. And by one of these things, I am looking at the Creality CR Falcon. They are this week's sponsor, so everything I'm going to be making today, I'm going to make on this laser. And this laser is an awesome example of a cheap, budget-friendly CNC laser that is actually awesome. It's a 10-watt diode laser, and it comes in at less than $500, and it can do everything that all my other CNC lasers can and more, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This video isn't necessarily a review on the Creality CR Falcon. It's really just how you can make money with a CNC laser. So let's get into the projects. All right, my first paying laser gig, and probably the easiest way you can make money with one of these things, is just laser engraving people's stuff. My best friend asked me if I would laser engrave a rifle stock that he was giving his son for his birthday. And of course I didn't charge him because he's my best friend, but that led to his wife then hiring me to laser engrave 12 hammers for a ministry that she was working in. And that was extremely easy. All I had to do was engrave a bunch of names on some hammers that I didn't even have to pay for. Took me 3 hours and I billed her $75 and she was thrilled. She thought she got the better end of that deal. And so again, that's an example of how I didn't try to make money, but I did, and it was easy. Now, a cool thing about the CR Falcon specifically is that it is a 10-watt diode laser with the longer Rayleigh length beam, which means you can not only use it for engraving wood and plastics and things like that, but you can actually use it to engrave stainless steel. For example, I brought back some life to this old cold steel knife by putting on my family crest. How cool did that turn out? But why stop there? The next thing I did was a gun slide. Now, to be fair, this gun slide is not stainless steel, it is blued steel, which means that the laser engraving doesn't pop quite as much, but it is still definitely there, and it is beautiful. And it turned this cheap little $200 Star Model B military surplus gun into a custom family heirloom. Now, I've been nervous to post pictures of this stuff on my social media because I know as soon as I do, I have lots of friends and family that are going to be very interested in customizing these things for the holidays this year. Now, the reason why I say engraving other people's stuff is the fastest and easiest way to make money with a laser, it's because it doesn't require really any planning or overhead, right? I didn't have to pay for those hammers or that rifle stock, and if my friends give me their guns and knives, I don't have to pay for those either. All I got to do is run the laser. As long as I have the laser, I'm ready to set up shop. Now, if you don't mind spending a little bit on materials, a really easy way to make money or save money this holiday season is to make Christmas ornaments. For example, I laser cut these Christmas ornaments out of 3mm craft plywood, which is not very expensive. And they turned out super awesome. And obviously the shapes and sizes and customization options of Christmas ornaments are endless. And And in fact, this X-Wing and TIE Fighter design I downloaded for free from Thingiverse. And so it didn't take any time to design it. All I had to do was print it out on the 3mm plywood. And it created a nice little organized punch card, so to speak, where you just kind of punched out the pieces and stuck them together. Also makes for a great holiday craft for your kids or grandkids or cousins or nieces or nephews or whatever. And so I actually sent a picture of these to my brother, and he got super excited because, of course, he's a huge Star Wars fan. And so we will probably be doing these as a craft with his kids when they come over for Christmas this year. And so even though I haven't marketed to sell these things at all, I'm going to be saving money by just creating them for my friends and family this year for Christmas. Another idea that I see people doing all the time to make money with lasers are these custom engraved Savoie tiles. You can see I lasered on a bunch of guitar headstocks. Again, that was a free vector that I downloaded, and super simple, very little overhead. One of these tiles costs 16 cents in my hardware store. This can be used as coasters, or, if you get in good with a contractor or a builder of some kind, this would be a really easy sell on kitchen and bathroom renovations, right? Unique, customized tiles for their kitchen or bath. And so that's a real easy way to make money that costs you hardly anything. Now, the trick to laser engraving these, because the laser actually will not touch the porcelain by itself, but if you spray paint on some white spray paint, this is the brand that I used, then it has some sort of chemical reaction with the laser that actually does legitimately etch it into the surface of the tile. Then you just scrape that paint off later with a little bit of lacquer thinner, and you're left with a nice crisp engraving just like this. People also do this on slate tiles. In fact, my buddy King Bespoke Creations just did it on his channel. If my local hardware store had had some slate tiles on hand, for sure would have done the same thing. Speaking of coasters, I made this cool little custom coaster with my logo on it out of some 1/4-inch poplar, and it cost me about 12 bucks for a 4-foot long piece of poplar. It's enough to make 10 of these coasters. If you marketed this as custom engraved coasters where people could put, the name of their business on it or whatever, you could easily sell a 10-pack for, 40 or 50 bucks. So not much overhead there as well. Now, you guys have already seen in my other videos me laser engraving guitar bodies and laser cut pick guards and humbucker rings and laser cut fretboards and stuff like that. So I'm not going to show you any of that in this video. You can watch those other videos if you're interested in that. But it is worth mentioning that that is a way that you can make money with one of these lasers. Now, the only problem is that's a really specific niche target. And so what I found is if you're really trying to start a side hustle or a small business, you need to appeal to the masses. And so while not every guitar player needs a custom laser cut fretboard or pick guard, every guitar player might want a custom vinyl record clock, right? Or, why do we need to limit it just to guitar players? To make this vinyl record clock, I just went to a thrift store and bought a $1 record and a $3 clock and pulled the clock guts out of it. And yeah, just laser cut out this design. Again, it was a free vector image that I found online. Overall, I've got about $3.50 invested in materials in this, about 20 minutes time on the laser. And I could easily get $25 or $30 for this if I wanted to compete with like Walmart and Amazon and IKEA. But if I wanted to laser engrave someone's name or logo into it, I could easily appeal to the custom market and get $50 to $100 easily. Now, again, not trying to market myself at all, just by showing off a few of these pictures to my friends, I already have people interested in wanting to order a custom vinyl record clock from me. So I can already tell these are gonna sell like hotcakes, again, without even trying. The last project that I'm gonna show you are these metal, don't you love that sound? Metal business cards. I mean, how cool is that? These things I think would be kind of difficult to make lucrative because you just can't really compete with Kinko's, right? Because Kinko's, you can get like 1,000 business cards for 20 bucks or something. And it was $20 on Amazon for just 50 of these painted metal business cards. And that's not even including the time on the laser that it takes to engrave it. So this is definitely one of those things that's more of a novelty. But for someone like me who pretty much only uses business cards when I go to the NAMM show and I want to hand out my influencer information to different brands, and I want to have a business card that stands out from the thousands of other influencers handing them a card that day, something like this is perfect. And the last way I'm going to talk about making money with a CNC machine is actually just selling your digital laser files, okay? Now, this is dangerous if you're trying to make money selling your actual physical products because other copycats can just buy your files and then maybe try to undercut you. But if you would rather not have to fulfill orders, you could design your product, cut it out, make some good quality videos or pictures of your product, and then you set yourself up to have some sort of evergreen passive income, which is really helpful. So if you look on Etsy, you can actually see lots of people selling their CNC files. And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do here as well. If you like the products that I showed you in this video, you can buy a bundle of all of these products in one nice, neat little package, pre-set up, and they aren't just SVG or DFX files. These are complete Lightroom files where all of your speed and laser power settings are already set. All you got to do is click open and then click start, and you are ready to go. Now, of course, the files are optimized for this Creality CR Falcon, but just about any 10-watt diode laser, you won't be too far off. Now, speaking of the CR Falcon, there's a few more things that I want to point out that make it really awesome. So firstly, and probably the most important thing, the CR Falcon, while it shares the same footprint as most 400 by 400 CNC laser machines, this one actually has a working area of 400 by 415 millimeters. So you get an extra 15 millimeters on your y-axis. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. It's just over half of an inch or 5/8 of an inch, but that little bit doesn't make a difference until it is the difference. So for example, when I was laser engraving that Telecaster body, I mentioned that without the extension kit on that Orchard laser, that I would just be a ½ inch shy of being able to do an entire Telecaster body. Well, with this machine, there would be no extension kit required. It would fit a full-size Telecaster body inside the engraving area of the machine. And that is a big difference. Like I said, it doesn't sound like a big difference until it is the difference. And so that's the number one reason why I would probably recommend the CR Falcon over any other 400 by 400 CNC laser, for that reason right there. Another reason is the price. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, this thing comes in at less than $500, and it's got the same 10-watt diode laser strength as the OLM3 that I reviewed last week for $150 more. So right off the bat, you've got the same powerful laser with a longer y-axis for less money. And again, one of the issues that I've had with my other lasers is that I have a hard time getting this z-axis high enough for engraving some materials. So for example, when I was engraving my buddy's rifle stock, I had to set my laser up on blocks to get it high enough, and that made it a lot less stable. Well, with this one, it has adjustable feet that I can install to lift the laser. And they can just stack on top of each other. You can see you can stack up to 3 to get your laser way up off the ground if you want to, right? And so that was really helpful when I was using the machine to engrave the gun slide. I was able to get the laser up high enough that I could still use the honeycomb for safety underneath. Also, focusing this laser is extremely easy as well. It's got this sort of 3-step little riser block that you can use for engraving or cutting different thickness of materials. And especially with that Rayleigh length beam, I was able to cut and engrave much faster. Another cool feature that this machine has that I actually haven't tried, but I could see it being extremely useful, is it has an integrated mini SD card slot where you can apparently just load your G-code onto a mini SD card and be able to operate the machine without having it connected to your computer. Why is this helpful? Well, if you are, say, running an Etsy shop and you are fulfilling orders and you need to print off, 20 of the same item, you can save it to your mini SD card and you can set this thing to run while you use your computer to design your other products. And that would be extremely handy. That way, your computer isn't tied up running this machine and you're able to multitask. And that's the coolest thing about these CNC machines, you guys. It really is like having an extra set of hands in the workshop. Once you set it up to run, I don't recommend that you leave it unattended. Definitely stay in the room, but you can work on other stuff. Now that reminds me, I am going to end this video with a quick safety disclosure to never leave one of these things unattended. And if you do need to, take bathroom breaks from time to time, make sure you set up some sort of automatic fire extinguisher system. I know firsthand that these things can set fires. So be very careful. Don't leave it unattended. And while you're in the room, make sure you are wearing your cool little laser safety goggles that come with your machine. You definitely want to use the ones that come with your your machine and not with a different machine, since they are likely going to be optimized for the wavelength of your laser. Also, make sure that anyone entering the room doesn't look at the laser. It's another reason why it's good to stay in the room while your laser is operating, so you can warn other people to not look directly at it. And if you are engraving shiny curved materials, be aware that because this is an open frame laser without an enclosure, that those laser beams can reflect off of those curved shiny surfaces and cause damage that way as well. So just wanted to let you guys know, because apparently if I don't say that, you guys just assume I'm being extremely reckless. But safety is my number one concern in my workshop. So I highly recommend you guys, if you are interested at all in desktop CNC machines, get in now during this CNC revolution. Get your foot in at ground level, because it's only going to give you a leg up on the competition as the market becomes more and more flooded. I've got links down in the description where you can find this Creality CR Falcon laser, as well as a special coupon code for you guys, so that you can save even more money than just what you're going to be saving by making stuff with this machine. And hopefully you can even make a little cash this holiday season as well. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, and I'll see you in that next video.